Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Kapag po tayo ay nagugutom, our bodies have ways to tell us that we need food. Kumakalamang sikmura natin, hindi tayo makapag-isip ng maayos. Yung iba sa atin, nanlalambot. O kaya naman, yung iba, narinig nyo na ba yung salitang hungry? Yung pinaghalong hungry at angry, na kapag gutom ay sinasabayan ng galit. Pero, para maibsan ang gutom na ito, what do? Easy. We eat. Yung iba, kakaunti lang. Others, more. Pero ang gutom natin, madaling maibsan. For some, kape at tinapay lang, solved na sila. Pero may isang klase ng gutom, a kind of hunger, na hindi natin madaling mapansin, pero laging nandyan. Hunger, na laging nagpaparamdam, pero hindi madaling maramdaman. Yung gutom na hindi pwedeng ordinaryong tinapay lang ang kailangan. Ang gutom ng kaluluwa, the hunger of our souls. This primeval and constant hunger is brought about by our sins, our deliberate turning away from God. We all know that because of sin, suffering and death came in. Yung nararamdaman nating gutom, the hunger of our bodies, is a fruit of this suffering. The hunger of our first parents, when they were exiled from paradise, and so they have to till the soil and work for their food. We suffer the same hunger up to now. And the other hunger, the hunger of the soul, is a fruit of death. We are hungry for what we have lost since the fall. And what is that? Life. Because of sin, death entered, and so we lost life eternal. We lost the life in communion with the author of life. In other words, we lost the perfect life. And when we are separated from life himself, we hunger constantly for that perfect life. The insatiable hunger that only life himself can satisfy. But sadly, my dear brothers and sisters, instead of feeding ourselves with spiritual food for life eternal, a way back to our perfect life, we demand perfect life here and now, ngayon na, ora mismo, but in an imperfect world. And so, we consume voraciously what our imperfect world can offer. And most often than not, these are deadly food for our soul. The lure of what is the latest fashion, the latest gadget, the lure of fame, the hunger for likes and follows and subscribes in social media, the lure of money that corrupts even the best of our leaders, our politicians and public servants of our country, even institutionalizing stealing in the system. The lure of titles and the tempting power and honor as if we answer to no one. These are intoxicating food that the false gods of the world offer. Tayo naman, kapag hinainan, kapag nilapagan ng ganitong klaseng pagkain, lamon naman tayo. We consume voraciously. Sa Tagalog, may tawag doon, PG. Alam niyo po yung PG? Patay gutom. Para tayong patay gutom. Literal, patay gutom. Dead and still hungry inside. Now, in the journey to the promised land, the Israelites were also hungry. One, because there is no food in the desert. Wala naman talagang tumutubo doon. And two, They were missing and kept asking for the food they left in Egypt, the food of the false gods, the food of their slavery. And so they were in constant hunger. If only they listened to God. There was drought and famine within and without. Now, without the rain, alam naman natin, there will be no water for the ground, for the seeds, no harvest for grains, no grains for flour, and no flour for bread. But God did not forget them. Bread came down from heaven. Water flowed from the rocks. Hunger brought about by drought and famine, and hunger brought about by the wrong food, God still provided the solution out of His mercy and love. The prophet Isaiah, in our first reading, prophesied this. The rain and snow will come down and will not return until they have watered the earth, making it fertile and fruitful, giving seed to the one who sows and bread to the one who eats. Now, this is not just a prophecy of plenty, but it is a prophecy of a rich harvest that would feed the hunger of the world, the coming down of the living word, the seed that will be sowed and bear rich harvest for food that will become bread that will give life to us all. Nang maging tao ang Panginoon, natupad ang propesiyang bababa ang ulan mula sa langit at hindi babalik hanggat hindi nadidilig ang lupa at ang mga butoy hindi nahahasik at hindi sumisibol at di namumunga at maging tinapay na pagkain. Sa pagpapatuloy ng ating propetang Isaiah sa unang pagbasa, he said, "My word shall not return to me void, but shall do my will, achieving the end for which I sent it." He came down, the incarnation, ang pagbaba ng ulan sa tuyong lupa. The Lord's public ministry of healing, restoring, forgiving, liberating, and reviving. Ang Diyos, diniligan ng lupa, naghasik ng kanyang binhi hanggang sumibol at mamunga. At pagkatapos, the Lord's passion, death, and resurrection. Si Jesus na siyang naging masaganang ani na pinagmulan ng butil ng trigo ay dinurog-durog para maging arena at sangkap para maging tinapay ng buhay na papawi ng gutom ng sanlibutan. And then, the Lord's ascension. Ang Diyos ay bumalik sa langit na kanyang pinagmulan na natupad ang kanyang misyon at kalooban ng Ama. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, Jesus comes to us as rain to water our dry hearts. He comes to us as His Word, or the Word, the seed that will grow and bear fruit. Dudurugin ang butil ng trigo para maging arena, para maging tinapay ng buhay na papawi ng ating taggutom. He's just waiting. Ang kulang na lang, lupa na kanyang didiligan, lupa na kanyang tatamnan, pasisibulin at aanihin para maibsan ang gutom ng sangkatauhan at matupad ang kanyang kalooban. All of us, my dear brothers and sisters, not only Christians, lahat ng tao ay siyang lupang kanyang tatamnan. Pero ang tanong, anong klaseng lupa ba tayo? Sa mga taong pinipili pa rin ang kasalanan kahit sabihan at pangaralan, mga taong walang pakialam at may ibang pagkaing kinahuhumalingan, mahihirapan pong mag-ugat ang salita ng Diyos. Mahihirapang umusbong at mamunga because our hearts are as hard as paths, stony as the stony ground, full of thorns. In our lives, we will remain in the season of drought and we will remain hungry. mananatili tayong PG. Pero kung tayo'y matabang lupa, hindi lang tutubo at sasagana ang ating ani upang ating maging pagkain na magbibigay buhay sa atin. It's not only a season of plenty. We will become instruments too to feed. Hindi lang ang mga may gutom ng katawan, lalong-lalo na po ang mga kapatid nating may gutom ng kaluluwa. My dear brothers and sisters, by the bread of life we eat and partake in this Mass, we move closer to life everlasting. And in our journey in the desert together, we become life-giving bread too that will feed the world. Lahat po tayo nagugutom. Lahat tayo ay gutom. But we have the bread of life. Ang kulang na lang ang mga pusong siyang didiligan, tatamnan at aanihan. Kulang na lang po ang mga pusong mamumunga ng 30, 60 o 100 para maibsan ang ating kagutuman. Amen.